So this story is pretty short. I wrote it not that long ago, probably a few months. It switches from third person to first person about halfway through, which is a little awkward. And it's not a great story, but it's something I wrote, and I know I can improve from that. It was a learning experience, but I want to share it, so here it is.
Double frick!
Hi, today I'm going to be reading you one of my stories, Dare to Dream. I do need you, you know, she told the man who was halfway out the door of her apartment. Outside the rain was pouring down, drenching the entire building in cold, wet puddles. The sound of it hitting the roof was like a wild buffalo stampede clopping across the field. Besides that constant downpour, outside the air was silent, discord nowhere to be seen. It had taken shelter inside her apartment, and as a result filled the air with a dreadful tension like no other. If only the man hadn't opened the door to let it all in. Even if all I do is complain to you and never go out of my way for you, I do need you. Don't leave, please, she told the man. The man paused in the doorway, the tip of his forehead in the rain, said nothing. He stared down at the wet concrete walkway in front of his companion's door. Why shouldn't I? Asked the man, back turned to the woman hiding crisscross under a blanket on the couch. Her hair was wild, like it had been put in the washing machine on heavy duty, then taken out halfway through. Her eyes were bleak and tired, with heavy lines under them. The jade wasn't so bright when she was like this. In her hand, under the blanket, concealed, was a cup of coffee, her fifth today. She couldn't remember the last time she slept, and neither could the man. You should, really. I wouldn't waste my time with me if I were you, but we both know I will never sleep without you here. If that ever happens, that is. If you are looking for some reason, some logic, something you'll get in return, just walk out now. I have nothing to give. In my state of being, I can only take. I'm a waste of energy and resources, so there's no logic in staying here. You could be doing much better things with your time than try and help me get past the nightmares. There's other women in this world. I'm nothing special. Yet I will ask you to stay anyway, despite all this, because I need you. I will not object if you choose to walk out that door. I will not hate you for it. It's the smart thing to do in all reality. The rain continued to pour down outside. So, will you stay? A few moments went by and the man shut the door, turning to face the woman. A lightning bolt cracked outside as the man sat down next to her. Her head fell on his shoulder, and she dared to close her eyes. The man stared forward, his eyes beginning to look just as tired, at the man in the small television mumbling about the thunderstorm. Can expect rain until 4 p.m. Tuesday. The woman let her consciousness drift away as she dared to dream once more. Sleep came over her like a wave, and she endeavored to ride it as it came. As always, she fell off, unable to control what was happening to her, and into a dark pit that was the ocean. She fell and fell until she woke up in the forest. The trees went up as high as skyscrapers, making the local redwoods in her real life look like puny midgets. She couldn't see the sky, as the emanating branches from the trees covered the entire sky. Light somehow found a way to exist in this realm, and it looked like it might be dawn or dusk, although there was no sun or sky to tell. The trunks of the trees were a dark reddish brown, and thick as a school bus. She could hear the birds singing still, so that was good. The ground was a mossy, soggy blanket of dirt. The air was filled with an uneasy mist. There was an unpleasant chilliness in the air as well, just cold enough to make her shiver, but not actually pose any danger. Mark, she called out. Sometimes when she spoke in the dream, she spoke in real life. So this was a way of telling him she had made it into a forest. A strange, warped voice said something back. It was heavily distorted, but she could tell what it said. I'm right here, Rain. She took a step forward, her bare foot sinking slightly into the moist soil below. The birds continued to chirp peacefully, even though the forest was filled with a constant, uneasy state of dread and paranoia. She could always hear the birds at first, but she never actually saw any proof of their existence. She walked forward, making sure to walk to landmarks like a boulder or patch of moss to avoid walking in circles, as people often do in forests when lost. She couldn't go off a tree because each of them looked exactly the same, even though logic told her at least one of them had to have some abnormality. She walked on in straight lines from landmark to landmark for what felt like forever. There was no sense of time passing in here. Things just happened. It could have been anywhere from 3 seconds to 3 months by now. She only hoped Mark hadn't given out on her. She walked and walked until the birds finally stopped chirping. The forest was now filled with an unnerving silence. She daren't move to interrupt the silence. She stood there awkwardly, waiting for the next thing to happen. Out of nowhere came a beast. It looked as if a gargoyle had come to life. Its stone body was covered in an oily lubricant. Each of its curves and edges moved down with a deadly precision, one that shouldn't be possible for a creature of stone. It ran on 4 legs like a cougar, but had the tail of a dragon, the horns of a demon, and the fangs of a dinosaur. It spoke like a snake, taking its time with each word and even more when there came an S. Don't give anything to him. He's not worthy. He is only forgiving, not receiving. Keep it to yourself. Give nothing. Take everything. If you cannot do this, you hold no place in life. He is unworthy of your love, said the gargoyle creature. He is, I insisted. I just have been so tired lately. He is, she insisted. I just have been so tired lately I haven't been able to give back to him. It's lovely, really. He's lovely, really. He's worthy. Wrong, it screamed, pouncing forward on top of me. It began to rip the flesh from my skin, and I could feel the pain as if it was real. This continued until the stone gargoyle made it to my brain. When I woke up, saturated in sweat, in my bed with Mark reading a novel next to me. I immediately sat up and pulled close to Mark, hugging him. I covered him with my tears, my chin resting deep in his shoulder. Rain, he said. I never knew something so simple could carry such an impact. Just my name, but it was saying I was going to be all right. Just my name, but it said he loved me. Just my name, but it said he was worthy. I think I need to go back there once more. They're my inner demons, I think. They want me to do bad things. I don't like it, Mark. I do need you. And I'm really, really sorry that I haven't been myself lately, or very passionate towards you at all, really. Hey, it's okay. You think you can go back in there and get them once and for all? He asked me, slowly shifting his left hand up and down my shoulder to soothe me as he returned my extremely tight hug. I sniffled. Yeah, I told him, getting caught on my own tears. How long did I last? A whopping entire hour, he said. Wow, that was a lot. The most sleep I've ever gotten since the nightmare started about 6 days ago was 28 minutes. You ready, he asked. Let me get situated, I said. I reluctantly dug my nails out of his back and pulled back. Lay down, I told him. He put his head on the pillow so he was looking up at the ceiling fan and lay down. I wiped the tears from my eyes, undoubtedly bringing along mascara with it, and put my head between his chin and collarbone. I was almost perpendicular to him, my feet touching the bottom left corner of the bed. I put my hands on his chest and closed my eyes. I'll hold you the entire time, he said. I felt his arms wrap around me. This was it. I would defeat them and finally sleep, and get my Mark back. I felt my consciousness drift away. I woke up in the forest once again, but this time I could feel Mark holding me. It was different this time. The forest was much darker, and I couldn't see past more than a tree away. It was completely silent as I woke up, and the trees had gone from a tenebrous bark to stripped naked, standing bone pale against the noir night. Violet, said a voice. If you have something to say it to my face, I told the voice. As you wish. I felt the flesh from my face begin to tear, and as a result I clenched my fingers, surely digging my fingernails deep into Mark. Before me was my own face, floating in the air without a body. Why, we're you. No, you're not, I told it, reaching my hand forward and crushing the face with my hand. I fell over, crying, as I felt my head feel the same result. It was still intact, but it gave me a splitting migraine. No, I said weakly. You can't run from yourself, Rain. Watch me, I told the voice. I stood up, wiping off my jeans. This is my dream, I said. I mustered up every ounce of strength in my body and conglomerated it all into one effort to change my dream. I buried the trees deep into the ground and brought the sun up into the sky. I grew bright green grass all over the empty dirt ground and pulled a tree out of the ground to impale the gargoyle-like creature. The sun's rays struck it, with the trunk holding it in place, going through its body, and turned its body into solid stone. It was over. I won. I brought the sun down and brought the moon up. I made a pillow out of the grass and a blanket as well. And then I slept, for the first time in God knows how long. When I finally awoke, I felt blood on Mark's chest. Oh, Mark, I'm so sorry, I told him. I dug my nails so deep into his chest during the dream that it caused him to bleed. Hey, it's fine. You were out for a while there, he said. How long? 49 hours, 52 minutes, and 17 seconds, he said, glancing at his watch. I think that's a new record. I'm gonna go wash up, I said, getting off of him. How about we go to dinner afterwards? He smiled. Rain, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, he said. Oh. I chuckled. Well then, breakfast, I said, leaning down and kissing his forehead. That sounds great, he said, smiling. I smiled back and got off the bed to find my shower. Then I stopped in my tracks to say one more thing. I said it without turning around. Hey, and my favorite color is blue, I said, quickly hurrying the rest of the way to the shower before he could respond. Something as simple as that was all of a start I needed to start getting back. On my way to the shower, I looked out the window. The thunderstorm had stopped. It was beautiful outside.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-public.